All right. Hey, ladies. Okay, it's about 5 o'clock, so I'm going to get started on here. If you are here, please let me know. Go ahead and drop comment, an emoji, whatever it is. Let me know that you're here. Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. I am doing this training live. So if you are watching the replay at any time, either let me know that you're here or follow up with me. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. This is a pretty big topic that we're going to cover pretty quickly today. But I definitely wanted to touch on this because this was something that, again, came up for me, and I definitely thought this would be helpful for you guys. It's amazing how, how in business, how we set our prices, and, we might have a monthly goal just based on what we need to survive, especially if you are planning on leaving your day job, if you even just want to go part-time and you need to figure out, what your income goal needs to be in order to do that. There's a lot of numbers involved, and I want you guys to really be profitable and sustainable when going into this. Depending on what your goals are, you definitely have to know your numbers. It's just so important, and I feel like there's not enough people talking about the number side of things because it does get tricky. I will say I'm not going to give you specific pricing numbers. I'm not going to give you specific income goal numbers. That is definitely something that you have to figure out by yourself, but you have to know how to figure that out, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I had this specifically come up for me that I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to share this because end of last week, I had my camera I've got some issues going on with my camera. And the thing about it is obviously being a photographer, I need my camera to do my work. So I do have a backup. However, it is my older camera, my older version. So it's not as, that's why I upgraded, right? It's reliable, but it has a little bit lower quality. It's a little bit older. It's not something that I would shoot, that I would be comfortable shooting a wedding with anymore, or a lot of low light situations. Anyways, that's getting into the details. But basically, even though it's my backup, it's almost for emergencies. So I did use it today at my shoot, which was great. It did serve its purpose there. However, going forward, I do need to send my camera in, and I'm trying to figure out what to do while it is in getting fixed. So it takes about 4 to 6 weeks, which is a bummer because that's a long time to be without my main camera. So I'm trying to figure out if I need to just rent a camera for a while, if I can use my backup for a while, or if I just need to buy a second body, which I'll probably end up doing. And I'll be honest, I was not planning on buying a camera this year. I'm really good with this one, I thought, but it's having some issues and it's not reliable. So when you're not planning on purchasing a big purchase like that, an expense for your business, that can be really scary. So I want to make sure that your business is set up to be successful, so to be profitable and sustainable. And by that, I mean for you personally and your lifestyle that you want to create, but also for your business and the needs that you have for your business. If you are a service-based business, a lot of the times there's not a whole lot of costs involved. Usually there's, programs or softwares that you'll need. Maybe it's subscriptions, something that you need to be able to serve your clients that way. If it's more of an online service-based business, like this one, for instance, like my coaching business. If it's a photography business, it's service-based, but it also has, equipment that you need to get started. So there's a lot of that equipment piece that you'll need that you have to factor in addition to some of those software and programs and things like that. So especially if you have kind of equipment, supplies that you need. If you are a product-based business, there's going to be definitely more costs involved in order to make your product. So whether that's machines, more equipment, maybe it's just the supplies and goods to create your products. There's so many different parts that can be involved. So I want to make sure that your business is set up to be sustainable, especially as you're first getting started, because this is something when you're first getting started in business. This was totally me. This is why I'm sharing this. When you're first getting started, you're really just hoping that you're going to make some money doing it. And all of that is usually, it feels really good because you're like, awesome, it's an extra income. Usually you have a day job, a side job, something else going on that you bring in most of your income, but you're just hoping for some income to come in to kind of give you that additional that additional revenue coming in to be able to spend. Maybe it's to help with your bills. A lot of people have side hustles nowadays because of this, just to help be sustainable for their personal life. But you have to make sure that your business is also taken care of and not just you. It's easy to get wrapped up in the bills that you have. Maybe it's debts that you want to pay down. Maybe it's just being able to travel more or something like that you have lifestyle goals for. But you also have to make sure that when something happens like this, that your business is set up to be able to do it without, drowning or taking out loans or, really digging into just a bad spot for your business. So I'm really excited to share this today. Like I said, I'm going to go fairly quick, but please, please, please take notes. Let me know what questions you guys have. Work through this. You should come out of this with at least a general number. It should be fairly specific if you go through all of this and really calculate it out, spend some time with this. It's really good to know your specific number with this. But as long as you have a general number, that will definitely help you so that you can be able to market your best in order to hit those goals every single month, so that you are in the best place that you can be for your business and your lifestyle. So to get started, so for those of you who don't know, I just wanted to share this because this has been a huge, huge deal for me this year, because in December, I decided to leave my day job. So I am doing my photography business and my coaching business full-time, plus a couple of side projects that I kind of took on and things like that, just to, I kind of have side hustles anyways, in addition to my business. But mostly because I'm multi-passionate. So if you're multi-passionate like me, I can definitely help you manage all of the things. But I really, took the leap and left my day job to be able to pursue what I loved to do, to build that bigger purpose that I felt like I had, other than just sitting in a cubicle all day doing the same things every day. So this really, really came in handy. Like I said, especially if you are planning on leaving your day job, even if you're trying to maybe go part-time and kind of work it out in between. This is really helpful because you need to know your numbers. So number one, first of all, I want you guys to really, if you haven't done this before, which a lot of people don't, and I'm very surprised, I'm a little too anal about this, but really track your monthly income. I have a spreadsheet tracker that I actually track all of my income, all of my expenses, my personal expenses. Of course, I have the separate one for business, but I track everything. And the purpose for that is to really know your personal numbers, know how much you spend a month, whether it's, you always have usually the regular bills, whether it's like rent or a mortgage, you have groceries, you have gas, you have, all of the things, health related stuff. Maybe it's for your pets, maybe it's for your children, whatever it is. Really, I always tell people, try to track this for 3 months if you can, because that gives you a good general average. December or around there is usually a little bit higher because, of course, Christmas and holidays and stuff like that. And then it just kind of works out this way. But those longer months that are usually 5 weeks versus the 4, those months tend to be more expensive. Just things that I've noticed definitely going through it. You spend a little bit more on groceries, you spend a little bit more on gas. Sometimes things come up, whether it's birthdays, other holidays, things like that. So if you're able to track how much you spend for 3 months, it's very, very helpful to be able to see where your money leaks are, where, sorry, my brain was phew. Where your money leaks are, where you can probably, take some expenses out, things like that, or where you just typically spend money. If you like the lifestyle that you're living right now and you don't want to decrease how many times you eat out, maybe you really like to go out to dinner with your significant other, maybe you really like to travel, maybe, you name it, whatever type of lifestyle that you like. I don't want you guys to have to think you need to give that up in order to pay off your debts or things like that. That's not how I roll. That's a good way to do it. That's how some people teach it, is to really decrease, other expenditures. But I see it as, especially if you're building your business, why not just make more money so that you can live the way that you want, have the lifestyle that you desire, and also have a profitable and sustainable business. Besides, then you're able to grow your business more and more because you're pushing yourself that much more, which is so great. So if you can really track your income and your expenses for 3 months, that's great. If you kind of have a general idea right now, that's a good number to start with. So if you're able to, kind of write down all of your regular expenses, maybe add so much for groceries and gas and other things like that, like whatever, like get those on paper, like really find that number of like your personal expenses. You might also hear this as a budget. Your budget definitely pulls in your income, so we'll get to that. But this is just your expenses. Like I want you to go through your regular expenses and really get that number. Know how much you need each month to be comfortable living personally, like for your lifestyle. So once you have that number, it is a good idea to add, once you know what you need to live off of, it's a good idea to add what you want, like how you want to better that lifestyle, whether it's like adding some, so much a month in your savings. Maybe you're saving for a new car or a house, or you just want to have some money put away just in case some other bills come up. Maybe it's vet bills. I know that's one for me. Maybe it is something for your kiddos. Maybe you're, giving to college fund. Maybe it's donating to a specific charity that you want to be involved with and help and stuff like that and help support. Whatever those kind of extra expenses are that you would ideally like to have, those are really good to work into this initial number, because I would rather have you guys set this number higher than lower, because you're always going to push for that higher number. So even if you fall short, you'll be okay, versus like going toward the bare minimum and then falling short of that, which is not a good place to be. So if you're able to do that, find that number. That's like your personal side, right? Very, very important to sustain you, right? So once you have that, I really want you to think about your business. If you have multiple businesses, do this for each one. This is kind of what I do. But for one business, I want you guys to really go through in your mind the year, because having a year in mind versus just a month is really going to make you more sustainable, because you're never sure what's really going to come up. So let's see here. If you know you have, there's so many different ways you can do this based on your business, but if you know you have like your regular fixed costs, which is basically anything that you have to pay for a year. So maybe it's a subscription to a program or a software that you guys use for it. Maybe it's a license. Maybe you need a specific business license, or you have a membership with a specific association. Whatever those fixed costs are that you're going to spend that amount of money each year, that's really important to write down first, because you're going to be having that as a business expense. It is something you can write off. If you guys haven't got into more of the tax side and write-offs, those are always great. We won't get into too much in detail in that, but I will say some tax stuff, because it does go hand in hand with your goals. So first and foremost, write down your fixed costs. If you are just getting started in your business, or you are new to business, just make your best guess. Like, do some research. What are the program softwares that you might upgrade to, that you might start using? What is the equipment that you initially need to buy? Maybe, especially if you're first getting started and you're having these startup costs of getting your initial equipment in order and all of your supplies, and maybe it's office supplies, maybe it's getting your desk area set up. That all goes into it. I want you guys to just like write down everything you might need for that first year. It might change next year, but then you have a good idea for this year. You can always redo this as many times as you need, but I definitely suggest at least once a year to know your goal number and how it might change with your business or lifestyle depending on where you're at. So write down your fixed costs, then start to go into your variable costs. This is something that might come up like once a month. Maybe it's just something that you go out and buy, like you just need, like, you're a photographer, you might need a new SD card or a new flash, like something not quite as expensive as like a new camera, but it's definitely something that might come up that you might need. I'm trying to think what else it could be. You name it. I mean, whatever you think you're going to need in your business as an expense that you're going to pay for, I want you guys to get it on the list. So you're thinking about, even though we're about halfway through 2019, I want you to think through 2019, whether you've already gotten started and had some spending already, calculate that in. And if you're going forward for this next like 7 months, definitely kind of estimate for those months as well. So this will give you a really good idea about just how much you need to cover those expenses. But here's where it gets tricky. So this is where I was really not worried, but this is what came up for me when I had the issue with my camera come up. So if you have equipment's going to fail. Equipment's going to break down. You're going to need backups. You're going to need repairs and things like that. So you have to calculate those in every year in order to be sustainable. So I want you guys to really think about, like, if something happens, you want to make sure that you have enough to cover the cost of, say, a new camera or a new computer, or maybe it's a new microphone, like whatever it is that you need for your business. You want to make sure you have enough in your business account to be able to cover that without kind of reaching into those other expenses that you're already paying for. So this is in addition to that number that you already have with the fixed costs and variable costs. So once you kind of get into that section is so important. Think of it as like savings for your business. You need to have some extra income in that account so that if things happen like that, you are covered and you're not scrambling, you're not worried about it. You're like, okay, I can do this if I need to. Like, obviously you're going to explore options, but if you just need to like go out and buy a new camera, you can. So that's the position that I am in. I wasn't expecting to do it, but I can do that because I did have that saved. So you want to calculate some of that in there. Like, how much is it going to cost for a new piece of equipment that you essentially will need for your business if something goes wrong? That is really, really important. Or softwares, computers, things like that. So once you have that too, you also have to calculate in taxes, because nobody likes taxes, but this is how it goes. So when you are self-employed, when you have a business and you file a Schedule C, and this is really for sole proprietorships and LLCs. Once you get into the corporations, this changes a little bit, which I'm not going to cover today. So ideally, if you are an LLC, and you file your taxes, you file all of your expenses, you do get the write-offs. So that kind of, in an easy way, kind of cancels out some of your income because you've had expenses, right? So that helps it there. But ideally, whatever you are getting paid, if you, for one client or throughout the year, whatever that looks like, you have to account for about 30% of that going to taxes, which is a big number, I know. And if you guys haven't heard that before and that's new, that's probably like, oh, ouch. Yes, it's totally true. So basically what I do is, like, once you have that number with the savings, with all of your expenses, things like that, what you kind of estimate budget for the year, I want you to multiply that by 30% to add that extra 30% on that you are going to have to give in taxes at the end of the year. Sometimes it's not that much because of write-offs and things like that, but you definitely want to be more safe than sorry when it comes to your taxes. Otherwise, you're going to have to be paying a lot more in taxes that you don't have, and you don't know where that money is coming from, and that's going to fall into your next year and things like that. So again, not sustainable. So add that extra 30% onto that. That's a really good number for your business to be for the year. Once you guys have those, I want you to calculate kind of both of them together for the year. And if there's anything else that you missed, anything, other businesses, anything else that you kind of need to lump in there, go ahead and add that together. And then easy, divided by 12 months. Or for me, I'll be honest, I don't want to work in January because I'm always super slow in January. So I kind of want to, like, my goal is to take January off. So in that case, I divided it by 11 so that I could have that extra month off too. So I don't have to have income coming in during that month. So I'm making up for it in the other months. So once you have that, you have your monthly goal. You have that number. And it could be really large, which might scare you, which is okay. Mine, I just redid it, which is, what sparked this training. And it's a big number, but it's definitely something where it's like, I know that when I hit this number, notice how I say when and not if, super important. You have to believe in it. But when I hit this number, I'm not only able to really take care of myself, my family, and the lifestyle that I want us to have, but also to have a sustainable business, to be able to be profitable and actually still have money in the bank. And it's not just like all going to expenses. And just creating a sustainable business every single year. So this number is going to change based on your personal goals, based on your business goals, based on just kind of everything that you want to upgrade in your business, how you want to grow it, how you want to grow your personal life. And maybe you want to move, maybe you want to buy a house, maybe you need a new car, whatever that looks like. You're always going to add new goals to this. But I want you to have that number. I want you to know your numbers and where that number comes from so that you full-heartedly believe in that number. And it's not just like, oh, I'd like to make 10,000 a month or, whatever it is, like just throw a number out there. I want you guys to really have a backing on what that number is so that you truly believe in it and you know that that's the goal that you want. Remember, you have to have like that intention and that passion like toward the goal in order to do the things necessary to get there, to bring it to fruition. So I hope that is super helpful. Please let me know what questions you have. I know that was really quick, but just to give you a general sense of that number. So I keep looking down because I have this Post-it like on my computer with how I've calculated that out and my goal so that I see it every single day. And it's really important to remind yourself because when you wake up, especially for your business, this is a huge like bonus tip, especially for your business, when you're able to see that number and just remind yourself every single day, you're able to kind of redirect your mind. And instead of, just checking off your things on your to-do list, you're able to really step into that CEO role, that higher level, like what does my business need from me today? What do I really need to push myself to do? How do I need to sell? How do I need to market differently in order to hit that goal? And like I said, if you fall short a couple months, that's okay. But just know that like you're falling short of like all of your biggest goals. It's not like you're setting the minimum that you absolutely need and then falling short of that and then still scrambling and stressing out and things like that. So this is really going to push you to that next level. So you have to believe in it. You have to have it somewhere where you can see it and remind yourself so that you really take action on it and you're not just checking off things that you think you need to be doing when it's really not even going to bring in income for your business and things like that. So again, I hope this was super helpful. Please reach out to me. I'm going to post it in the comments below, but I do have, if you guys are more interested and need some more help with this, I do have a money planning worksheet that I have. And it really walks you through all of these pieces and helps you set these goals. So if this is something very new to you that you think you need a little bit of extra support on, just to understand your numbers, maybe you're like not the one in your family who does the numbers, or you don't typically like numbers, or you've just never done this before, that's okay. I want you guys to get started and not let it scare you. So this was basically my system of how I used it. And the spreadsheet that I referenced that I use in order to track my income, that's also in there. So I will post that in the comments below. So for those of you who are interested, you can totally grab that. That's really, really helpful just to walk you through some of these pieces, especially if you are new to this. And really help you get that number. You can use it over and over and over. So if your goals change, you can kind of redo it. It's a digital file, so you can, save it as a new document or whatever you need to do every time. So I will add that in the comments below. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. You guys know that. But I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday night, and I will see you guys later. Have a good night, guys.